It's been a while since I last like made an episode, but like it is fine. So, yeah, we're in episode 4. Yeah. Wait, what are my keywords again? I forgot. So the recording of my episode 4 kind of got lost. So, this is episode 3. So, yeah. So I forgot what happened in the last episode, but I'm pretty sure it's just a huge war over here in which this guy lost. Like this guy lost, this guy lost, this guy lost. That's all I really remember. So starting first, we're going to have Malacca start up a little colony on Borneo over here, and this is going to help the economy just a little bit. It's mainly used for trade, but eventually, because it's on the coast of Borneo, not in the huge jungle area, it'll be turned into a population center. Over here over here in India near Bangladesh, we're going to see some exploration down west as these guys are trying to figure out just more stuff about India. Over a course of a few years, they discover this. Wondering. Okay, I'm just singing a song. So let's go over to the next area of interest. So Tsushima over here. Wait, okay. Tsushima over here, they're actually going to be falling into a civil war. So these Koreans over here, or like at least up here in the north, they don't really want to be a part of an island. An island owns this entire country, and they don't like that. They think that they're weak because of it, and they want to revolt. So over here in Tsushima, or just northern part of Korea, we're going to see rebellions trying to take over the country, and they're also going to take over these two cities. But because there's rebellions up here, the South Koreans that also want independence rise up, and in Busan, we have which is South Korea rising up in these two cities. So the North Korean rebellions, they start to invade this puppet state, and they quickly capture the city as the troops here, the local police, they're too bothered. They're too unbothered to do anything with this. They don't see a point in even defending the government because the government does not care about them whatsoever. So this Korean rebellion sees little to no like losses, as there's just a scramble for getting the troops ready, and none of them, like, a lot of people are fired, a lot of people are killed as they do this. And over the process of a few months, a few years actually, they managed to lose all of this land. So this rebellion, they're also like, give me more land, bruh. And they take the majority of the rest of the land in the south, except for, well, they get about all of this. The part of the reason why Tsushima lost so badly is because Kyushu was funding these rebels. So these two rebellion groups decide they can make a peace treaty. Let's see what it is. This is the peace deal. Well, this is the peace deal that they come up with. So North Korea, it's just gonna be called Korea because they're more important. I'm sorry. Gets all of this. This guy gets all of this land. And then I gotta get a color for the puppets. A better one, at least. So, this is what they end up taking. Anyways, let's move somewhere else. Actually, I have to update the borders before the Civil War happens, so. Like, they took all of this. This kind of looks bad, but. They took this before the war. Over here in Southeast Asia. Okay. So The Triangle Alliance and Burma are currently preparing to invade Thailand once more, but they're also trying to send some ships down to Malacca to see if they'd want to help, as Malacca does have a slight hatred towards the Thai for owning them in the past and rebelling from them. So in the shadows, there is a coalition brewing, and it's against the Thai. However, the Thai colonial fleet is still ongoing, and they discover they discover this entire island and parts of these islands. Then they start to colonize and briefly just take land out of these islands. Then they also discover and take these. In Borneo, though, there is huge exploration advancements, especially on the coast. So we're done with that now. So this purplish Chinese nation, they're actually going to expand into inner China and actually explore more into inner China as they find tons and tons of fertile land. And so does this blue country. Hold up, I need a river map. Okay, I got rivers after like 30 minutes of trying to find something. So these Chinese nations will be primarily expanding, on the rivers because it's fertile. So I'll update their expansion in a second. So the Chinese countries will be expanding into their areas as such. Expect in the next episode a bunch of cities here. Right now, up here near China, up here in northern China in this peninsula, Tsushiman immigrants and Kyushin immigrants, like Japanese and Korean immigrants, all start emigrating over here to make a new country. So now we have we have a country here. And they're very influenced by the Koreans and the Japanese. And this is their expansion after a few years. So now let's see the other countries' expansions, then we'll continue. So these guys, they don't expand too much as they, just got out of war, but they expand into this. Northern Hokkaido takes this in southern Sakhalin. Vietnam will do the Chinese strategy and stick to the coast and the rivers, also taking some Chinese rivers, which does make them a little bit mad, but they're gonna have to deal with it. So, Burma over here, they're just going to expand on the coast a little bit and go up this river, or these rivers. This tough thing, yeah, they just expand into the rest of this. Bangladesh, since they're the only country in the Indian subcontinent right now, I think, they have a lot of room to expand, so they expand into all of this. No, that's really all the expansion other than Borneo, so I'm going to update that, and then we'll do some exploration, then we'll continue. These are what the countries take. So they explore into all of this. People from Bangladesh decide that they want to go explore. They want to be nomadic. They want to start a civilization that is disconnected from everyone else. So thousands, tens of thousands of people go on a journey, mainly sticking onto rivers so they can get good food. They just need some supplies and some food. So after a good while, they end up over here in Gujarat, or something in Gujarat, I don't know. And they actually start to, like, some of them, they stay here and they actually settle here. So we have one group settling here, mainly calling themselves the tough people. Yeah, they call themselves the tough people. Everyone here settles, but for the few thousand that don't, well, they settle here, but not permanently. And then after a few years of recuperating, getting their stuff back together, they start their journey once more. So eventually, their journey does come to an end once they reach the Indus, and then they realize how powerful that this one river may be. So the people of the Indus River call themselves um the Empire of Karachi. They set up a city and it's called Karachi. Eventually, direct contact with these people are lost, and it's like this now. And actually, I'm gonna do a quick city update. Wrong thing. So these are the updated cities, and I also added some capitals, mainly over here and over here. I would say that the current year is like maybe, I don't know. We're near the start of the Common Era, so I would say like 50 BC, maybe like 45 BC, something like that. But then Malacca finally sends a response. I've been dragging this, I know. I haven't been dragging, but like I've been stalling for this. Malacca sends a response from these guys asking for them to help in a future war. And by the time it is received, they have been invaded by the Thai. The Thai have been preparing for this invasion for years, and they finally wanted to wipe out the Triangle team before they could do anything else. But because they're being invaded, Malacca says yes, they will help, but they would need to know when the war is starting. But the war already started. So they desperately try to send some boats down to the capital to get noticed. And it takes about 15 months to get down there. And in that time, they lose a good portion of their country, but not their capital. Thailand also begins their invasion of Vietnam, quickly tumbling their troops. But because Burma is closer in these countries, they don't really care about borders. Vietnam sends some of their advisors, their diplomats, to ask them for help, and because they are already in the coalition, they say yes. This was a huge surprise to the Thai. They they unsurprisingly lose some of their land pretty quickly, but not the city, as that is very well defended. So the Thais are kind of going crazy, but like they're still winning this war. They may be a mess internally, but they still have a good military. The Thais, after a lot of losses, their superior navy, goes around and makes tons of landings on the coast, and after a brutal battle, they finally manage to encircle the capital city. Vietnam actually starts to push back the Thai a little bit, showing, well, they actually have horses, and they're using those horses to their advantage to quickly push back and retreat whenever they need to. So Thailand goes for a different approach. Blitz to the capital. Burma does continue its rampage down over here, but they're still unsuccessful. Actually, no, they do capture this city. My bad. Then most of the Thai troops in the mainland, they consider all of this the mainland. They call all Thai troops in this area to go fight on the front over here in Vietnam. Many of them do actually start to go to battle, and this country's cooked. I'm not gonna lie. But the capital holds out strong, as the capital is the one place that is properly defended in this country, I'm not gonna lie. However, this puppet and half of this one do fall. Their strategy to blitz to the Vietnamese capital actually works, and they actually take it. It's a huge blow to the Vietnamese, but they actually do have troops on both sides, like encircling them slowly, even with their fast horses. Finally, once everything is dire, Malacca receives a message, and then they start to ready up their military. After about 5 months, the Malaccan military is ready, and they go into Thai territory, quickly invading and taking over their more suppressed lands. And now it's time to do naval stuff. Ew. So these. Oh god. Ow. I just got a splinter. Okay, well, these are the front lines. Okay, I'm good. The Moluccans actually have good experience fighting in these waters, but the Thai Navy is still better than theirs. Quickly, the Thai Navy over here, they actually deplete. They don't deplete. Like they. I don't. I forgot the word. They just demolish the entire naval presence over here, and it quickly falls over to them. However, making landings is going to be too expensive, and they do have fronts over here to focus on. Some Thai troops do arrive from over here because they have an overhaul, and they think that they're going to win over here anyways. So the Thai do actually make naval landings here because it's not as expensive as, they're closer, it's less logistics to worry about or something, and they recapture the city after a very brutal battle. Navally, they're also winning. The Vietnamese Navy is getting destroyed right now, I'm not gonna lie. But on land, they actually encircle this and push back with their new horses, yeah. And they start the siege of their capital. They're trying to re-siege their capital or something. Malaccan troops in Borneo start to invade the colony, and actually, over here, people rise up and they join the cause, making everything a lot simpler for the Moluccans, and they capture most of the southern part of the colony. Then we have this Filipino nation, after getting word from the Moluccans that they can, low-key invade, and they take back these cities and these islands. This isn't looking too good for Thailand now, but they're still winning somehow. In this country, their capital does fall after a 2-year-long siege, about 28 months. Everybody in the capital city is massacred other than the children and women, which are sold off to be slaves. In Vietnam, they can't really do the same though, as it's kind of hard to escape through boat. Malacca, they're still winning down in the south, and they're actually probably going to get a few countries to join their cause. So, as Thai troops are coming down to defend from the Moluccans, and they actually start to set up a defensive around these cities, this little purple nation decides that I want land. Something like that, they say it in that accent, yeah. And with their limited troops, they actually start encirclement around the Thais. Navally, Thailand is actually starting to lose now. Over here, where most of their navy is, though, they are still winning. They're actually winning a lot. Even in Vietnam, they're starting to lose. Also, by the way, all of Malacca's client stage / puppets down here, they are helping them, and that's why they're winning so badly. These two cities, they get put in 2 separate sieges. And with them being kind of starved to death, eventually they both fall. More Thai reinforcements do come down though, and they start to demolish this country's military until the Moluccans arrive. And now we have a little bit of a stalemate for it now. And now in Burma, they're losing, and it's far worse than before. They lose all of this land. They also lose this puppet. In Vietnam, though, this country does fall. I will be keeping them on 1 pixel, though, because it kind of, The Vietnamese, after a deadly, deadly siege, take back their capital city. Then the new Thai forces down here start to actually demolish the countryside of southern Vietnam. They reinvade over here, and the cavalry is useless as the Thai have also gotten their own cavalry. I kind of forgot that I thought this was independent, apparently was as part of Vietnam. But this thing will be invading Thailand's colony. Just the natives don't want Thailand there either. So both of these guys start to invade the thing, and then they take back their land. Now let me update the naval front lines. So there's a lot of trading over here. However, the Moluccans do get tons and tons of coastal naval dominance. And even the Thai Navy's losing over here because they're too focused on the Moluccans. Vietnam's Navy's still making their pushbacks. It's actually going pretty well. They have most of their coast under control. In Borneo, this city finally gets captured after like a few years, actually. With the capture of the city, most of the land here is taken other than this one city, which is a settlers' colony. Then this thing also goes under occupation. Then this island, they declare independence from Thailand. I'll actually just be making them this color, I like it. Now, the Thai forces make one of the longest battles in all of history at this current moment. It's the Battle of whatever the city's name is. Yeah, name it yourself. Eventually, the defensive troops over here are pushed back quite a lot, actually, and they lose a lot of ground. Then we have Vietnamese rebellions. Now, because there's Vietnamese rebellions, they actually start to win because there's no troops defending this area, and people are just signing up for the military to regain their country's independence or like get it back to what it was before. They all make a beeline for each other, and they all end up connected. Then this thing over here, it also declares independence. Welcome this country. Yeah, it exists now. I'm gonna turn off Navy now because it's pretty irrelevant for the rest of this war. Then Burmese areas start to also rebel and go back into their homeland of the country or something. Yeah, I forgot. Also, currently about wait, don't mind the echo. That just happens. I don't know. I can't control it. Like sometimes the echo just does this. Don't ask me. But after about 20,000 lives lost, the biggest battle and the longest battle currently, after like 12 months of straight battling, not a siege, the capital of Vietnam, Vietnam actually wins the battle and gains a lot of ground back. Then the citizens are being suppressed here. They I don't know. They rebel, and their country gets liberated, as most Thai troops are sent back to go defend the mainland. So their puppets are re-liberated too. Wait, what did I? Am I stupid? I might be stupid. Okay, fixed it. So Vietnam regains all their land. The rebellion is now, well, the pink team people that rebelled, they are now helping this rebellion down here because they will be uniting after this war. The Thais think that they're still gonna win this war though, so they say like, "Yo, you want a white peace? Like, give me all my land back right now." And then the response is that is this entire city getting genocided, and because of that, the loss of morale, then they try to get a conditional peace treaty, and their conditions are that they live, they get to keep most of their land, and everyone says no. Also, this falls over, and everyone decides that let's just like force this guy to like unconditionally surrender. So this is how the invasion is so far. So now Vietnamese troops start their way into invading. Hold up. Now Vietnam is invading fully with their full might of their military. Almost all troops are called to the capital city. Because most of the troops are called to the capital, I'll update the front lines. These are the lines now. Eventually, they do lose this entire area due to having a skill issue or some. I don't know, bro. Then they lose this major city, and then they're left to only 3 cities as they lose this puppet state and some more land up north. The Moluccans start their march to the city. The Burmese and the Vietnamese go to this city. They actually encircle it. Then the South Vietnamese start preparing for an invasion of the capital. The Vietnamese do take this. Then the city is split in half between the Vietnamese and the Burmese. Then the Moluccans take over this city, and now the only city left is the capital city, also known as the Holy City. After months and months of battle, all sides start coming in, and it looks like the capital is about to fall. The South Vietnamese, they get ready. Then the Moluccans, they start their march into the capital, but they get pushed back and have heavy losses. But then, by surprise, the South Vietnamese capture the capital due to some tricky moves. And then the war is finally over, and they agree to peace terms. Let's look at those terms. First of all, Malacca will be having a client state / puppet state over here. And then this country will be annexing all of this right here. Secondly, this country will be given independence, and then obviously we'll be uniting this with this guy over here. And then, yeah, they're given most of their old land plus some extras. Vietnam, on the other hand, they're probably just gonna take these puppets. So yeah, Vietnam just takes these 2 vassals. Also, I'm just gonna shortly return the land to Thailand so I can like do this easier. So Burma will be taking all of this from Thailand, and these guys learned the lesson from the last war, and they're gonna actually divide them up a little bit. So instead of fully dividing them, because they know like that would probably not be the best thing to do, they're just going to split them in half. And now these are the new borders. Well, actually, over here in the Philippines, they just take what they have, and Vietnam returns the colony back over to the pink team. Malacca, on the other hand, they will actually be giving this thing that, then themselves will be taking this colony over here. This Filipino nation will just be taking what they have. Also, shortly after this war, let's just say Malacca did some invading, and now they have 2 more client states. Now that this war is over, the economy over here is a little bit collapsed. But in East Asia, northern East Asia, it's thriving. Anyways, let's do one more event before I end the video. Well, actually 2. So, Vietnam will be forming a federation with these 3 Vietnamese nations, the blue one, the brown one, and the green one. So this is the Vietnamese Federation. Now let's do the last thing. It's just going to be exploration over here, really, and some over here. So these are all the exploration things. Here, 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 and here. Here, here, and here. And finally here. Here. Here, 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 and here. And here. And here. And here. Anyways, that'll probably do it for this episode. Hope you had a good watch. Yeah. Bye.